January, Blackwater employees were charged with shooting dead 2 Afghan civilians in Kabul, attempted bribery of high-ranking officials, and obstructing justice, hiding of illegal weapons, and putting a prostitute on the taxpayer-funded tab. According to Laura Marlowe, 2010, on June 26th, she stated that all of these crimes are happening in Afghanistan right now due to a PMC firm named Blackwater. As a cross-examination debater for the past 3 years of my high school career, I've done many different resolutions that we've debated throughout the years. This year, our resolution was about military personnel and one of the 6 countries within the resolution. My partner and I chose to do PMCs, private military contractors, in Afghanistan. Our affirmative case was on PMCs, and it not only took us all the way to state, it took us all the way to the 2nd day of state, and we were state medalist. It was a very big deal, and we were really proud of our PMC case. So, therefore, I believe that I am somewhat of an expert on the topic of PMCs. Today, I will bring you 3 points. In my first point, I'll tell you what a PMC is. In my second point, I will explain to you what the PMCs are doing in Afghanistan. And in my third point, I will tell you about what the government's plans are for these PMCs. This brings me to my first point. PMCs are also known as private military contractors. They are under the Geneva Convention, which they're protected under Article 47 of Protocol 1 of the Geneva Convention, to be extremely specific. And what they are is a type of mercenary, which they're sometimes called dogs of war. And they're over there to help protect and aid our military personnel. They're not over there to be in active combat or carry any type of weapon. They're over there to translate, to drive around our military personnel. They're over there to cook and to clean for them. They're not there to be part of the military. What they are is a firm of contractors, and they're over there. They're supposed to be building houses and stuff for the people of Afghanistan. But with the fact that they are participating in active combat, they violate the definition of a mercenary under the Geneva Convention. And the PMCs in Afghanistan aren't doing any of these jobs that they were sent over there to do. So right now, the PMCs are over there hurting civilians and that kind of thing. And we're here to, or PMCs need to be over there to help the military and not to hurt the civilians, because it's going to harm U.S. hegemony having them over there. This brings me to my second point. According to Human Rights Watch program, the HRF program, on June 18, 2010, they wrote an article about PMCs increasing in Afghanistan. With the PMCs over in Afghanistan increasing, they're harming innocent civilians and putting our military at risk. One example of putting our military at risk and the civilians in Afghanistan was in USA Today on March 15th. An article was written about an Al-Qaeda operative, 2 Al-Qaeda operatives that disguised themselves as PMCs and were in this firm, in the Blackwater firm, for multiple months. And then they decided to show up to the military base in Afghanistan with bombs strapped to them, and they blew themselves up, killing 35 people. With a total of 47 injured. And within that 47 injured and 35 killed, 3 were children. This is a horrible tragedy to happen, and the information that the HRF program is providing for us is that the PMCs are just keep harming these people. They're not doing anything that they should be doing over there, and they're not going to help our military personnel at all. If anything, they're damaging the name of the United States of America. They're hurting our government because our government provides them with the contracts to be over there. They're not part of our military, but they're under the United States government, which is a big deal for us to put our name out there with these guys, and then they to obscure the name, obscure the justice of the United States like that. This brings me to my third point. Stephen Lindman, 2010, on January 20th, says that PMCs are on the rise and the government continues to give contracts. Stephen Lindman is an associate for the Global Reconstruction Center. And he believes that if the PMCs continue to rise and that the government does not terminate their contracts, then we are going to have a huge problem on our hand. It is going to eventually ruin the name of the United States if we keep sending our people that are over there to help protect and care for the Afghan people, and we're sending PMCs over there that are going to hurt these people. Lindman believes that that is just not the way to go, that that's going to end up damaging the U.S. hegemony forever, and it's going to end up hurting everyone in the long run. Obama was quoted saying that he has no plans for terminating any contracts of any Blackwater employees or any other firms that belong to the United States government that are over in Afghanistan right now. He does not see the problem, and he does not wish to take all the money that we've put into the contractors right now out of their contracts. He wants them to settle down and be over in Afghanistan. He doesn't believe that anything's wrong. But Lindman, as I've pointed out, is saying that there is a huge problem, and that if the PMCs continue to rise, they are going to eventually outnumber the military personnel in Afghanistan, which, as I've said before, is going to put serious damage and harm against the U.S. name. We're the people that everyone looks to protect, and if we're not protecting the people that we promised to protect, then we're not doing our job as the U.S. government, and therefore there's no reason for us to be over there anymore. According to Lindman, the Human Rights First program, and Marlowe. Today I've brought you 3 points. In my first point, I told you what a PMC was. In my second point, I told you what the PMCs are doing. And in my third point, I talked to you about what the government's plans were for the PMCs. Like I said in my introduction, I gave multiple examples of all the different crimes that PMCs have committed. And it was only one example of that Blackwater firm, and that there's thousands of firms in Afghanistan and all these other surrounding countries where we have military personnel because the PMCs are over there to aid them. But like I've been saying, and like all of these sources are saying, the PMCs are not doing their job, and we do not want to harm the United States government's name anymore.